Welcome back to my channel. It's Ingegno Giacomo, by the way, and today we're gonna work on a classical dish who can be made with chicken, pork, actually beef was pretty good, breaded like that. So it's a chicken Milanese. It was very commonly not done properly. A very important thing, you're supposed to bread it at the last moment. The longer you leave it with the bread on it, the breading it will absorb the moisture and make it very dry. Anyway, we're using a chicken breast from Aldi. Like I say, pork loin will work great as long as it's pounded thin. Same with the chicken. I don't like it too thick. And by the way, talking about the chicken, this one I paid $2.19. It's still pretty much the price of Aldi. Their chicken breast is pretty good. As you can see, it comes trim, you know. There is not much fat on it, what I'm saying. So that's technically, because it's breaded, this one will give me enough for 2 people. This small piece right here. I'm gonna take off the excess because it makes it easier to pound it. I'm gonna slice it in the middle. You can buy the thin slice chicken breast, and you're gonna be avoiding this step. Now, very briefly, all this package of chicken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cost me $11.13, so less than $2. So this means my cost per meat per person is going to be less than $1. There is a little added cost, of course, the cooking oil, the breadcrumb, the eggs, and I'm using some cage-free eggs because Aldi somehow they never raised the price on those. They were actually cheaper, but now they changed it. They're back to like 3 something. I bought them for like $2.40 when the regular eggs were like $2.60, so it's kind of crazy. So anyway, I have 2 eggs here. I'm gonna beat them up. And a very important rule of breading, I'm sorry about the noise, very good. So my 2 eggs are done. Flour, eggs, breadcrumb. I have some Panko breadcrumb. Those ones are from Walmart. They're like $1.60, $1.70. It was pretty high for only 8 ounces. So it's like 3 something a pound. Aldi is cheaper. I should have bought some from Aldi. It's like $1.09, $1.10. So it's much cheaper than Walmart. Same size. The quality seems okay. And I have these ones. If you do a large quantities, I recommend that you go to a GFS Gordon. There's actually 3 pounds, and it's only like $8, $7.95. It used to be like $5 2 years ago. It kept going up. Now it's $8. But you have 3 pounds. Don't forget it. So technically, here you have like the equivalent of 6 of those canisters. So I'm using the Walmart. But the Gordon is pretty good quality also. I'm putting my breadcrumb here. So very important thing about breading, I saw this mistake so many times. I don't know why. It's always the same. First flour, second egg, and then breadcrumbs. There is no other way around it. Those breadcrumbs are pretty plain. I love the Pankos. Number 1, because they don't absorb oil as much as the other breadcrumbs do. Like the Italian one, for example, at Walmart was only 99 cents. They put extra flavors and stuff in it, but mainly they absorb the oil much more. Somehow the Panko have a tendency to stay crispy and kind of nice, and then very little oil absorption. The other one is like a sponge technically, so they get very greasy very quickly. Okay, so let's get moving here. I have my chicken breast. I'm gonna cut it in 2. Another very important step is the pounding. So that's my 2 portion. I know it don't seem like much. Probably it's like it was like 5 pounds here, yeah. So it's a little less than a pound. So we're looking at maybe 7 ounces of chicken per order, but it's plenty, trust me. Now plastic wrap is very important when you pound it. I don't like to pound things without plastic wrap. I'm using a little water to moisture my table, so it's actually is a sanitizing solution. Water and a little bit, very little bit of chlorine bleach. That's what we use, but there is a ratio to it. So we put in this one here. I got 1 and 2 chicken breasts. I'm going to now put another piece of plastic wrap on top. And of course, you get rid of it once you're done pounding. You don't save it. Just it's not really safe to do so. I'm using a little mallet here. I like the side with the little ridges, instead of the flat one. Somehow it gives me more control. And normally I start from the center and spread it out. Pretty much twice as big as the original one. I do remind you, pork loin, even beef, as long as it's thin, is like a New York is great breaded like this, like a Milanese, the Wiener Schnitzel. So the pork loin is incredibly cheap right now. It's like $2 a pound. So that's pretty much the same price as chicken, and it's already trimmed. We do a little seasoning, salt. Normally I season just one side. I don't want to go crazy, make it overly salty. Another thing with the salt, I kind of move my finger so it spreads out. Another good thing is to maybe make sure you do this so it's kind of evenly. Now we're gonna go to the breading part. Flour first, once again, very important. And then the egg wash. Right here, 2 eggs is plenty for this one, actually a little too much, but 1 egg is cutting a little close, so I have no choice. So that's my egg wash. And now if you do a chicken francese, I will stop here, forget about it, the breadcrumb, but that's a Milanese, so we need that. So now I'm dipping it into my bread. And that's it. And now I make sure I get plenty of bread on it. Now turn on my pan. I'm using an induction pan. I crank it up all the way, so let's go as high as it can go. Is 1800. Those things are amazing. Those are the famous, I made a video about those, the rock induction radius, you know. See, once I lift it, there is no heat coming out. Once I put it down, it's back to cooking. It gets hot instantly, pretty much. You're gonna see in a second. I'm using vegetable oil. This one is from Walmart. It's like $3 still for a quart and a pint. It was one of the best prices with Aldi. Aldi actually is cheaper. It's around the same, but the canola is only $2.88 still. Everywhere else it went up. A quart of oil now is like $1.70. Insane, just for a quart. So we put oil. It's a very important thing also, not deep frying. Absolutely not deep frying a Milanese. You just put fresh oil every time you do it. And of course, once I lift it, it stopped working. So it's heating up. We're gonna see the oil in a second. In the meantime, I'm breading my second one right here. See, the key is being thin, nice and thin, so it gets crunchy. As long as it's wrapped, it doesn't get the moisture. Otherwise, it's like a sponge. It does absorb the moisture. Pretty much $2, so $1 each. That's my cost for the meat. A little less, actually. So, those are the Milanese ready to go. Like I say, pork is an excellent candidate for this. You can do it with fish, honestly. Just certain type of fish are better than other. So we are ready. My pan is warming up. Now, as a topping, while that's cooking, let's go over the toppings. I'm gonna put in those plates. Traditional topping in Italy, they serve it with a salad. Salad normally I like a little arugula, a little fennel, diced tomato, a little hearts of palm. I have a vinaigrette here, but you can also enjoy with just a piece of lemon, you know. I do remind you, the same technique works well for a Parmigiana. The difference with a Parmigiana will be, once it's cooked, I will put on top tomato sauce, shredded mozzarella, a little Parmigiano, and put it in an oven set at very high temperature, like a broiling, where it will melt my mozzarella, my cheese, like 5-10 minutes. But technically it's the same preparation, just the toppings change. You're gonna have tomato sauce, mozzarella, and Parmigiano. So my Milanese is cooking. That's the Milanese. Another very important thing. So I like at the end when the Milanese is cooked to use a piece of paper towel, and then of course I dispose of it to absorb any additional oil. So anyway, it cooks in only like 3-4 minutes. So far we're looking approximately $1 here, 90 cents for a portion. My salad here, we're looking at the whole container is like only $2.80. So I have used maybe like a, oh my God, an 8 of it. So you got maybe like 70-80 cents of arugula. Little fennel is expensive. They're maybe like 40 cents. A tomato is like 25 cents because like 5 on a bag for $1. Aldi. They went up to $1.10 now, $1.19. So tomato, these and hearts of palm. So far, those are the best hearts of palm to me for the money. Those are available at Walmart, Publix, almost every store. The other brands sometimes are very disappointing. They've been using them for years now. They've been pretty steady. Sometimes you get them much bigger inside.